Hello and welcome to Talk a Good Game, and it's match day 38, the last game of this season. It's Ipswich Town against West Ham United. Welcome to our match preview. Gonzo, to spice it up, to try and pretend that this game is half interesting. This is a £12 million game. West Ham can move up one space and down two spaces. So there's 12 million up for grabs for West Ham on Sunday afternoon.
Yes, please.
Does it sound
Any
spicy now?
money? Oh, I guess they're just making a loss, aren't they? Ipswich, whatever happens for Ipswich. But again, to get £30 million for what's his name, for Delap. But yeah, shame for them. I think they've had good intentions all season, really. To be fair.
Well, in regards to Ipswich Town, what's your thoughts on our opponents?
I like them. I like what they've tried to do. Is it Hutchinson, the midfielder? Is that his name? Good player. Good player. I really like him. Obviously, Delap has taken centre stage. Maybe, just maybe, they've had a couple of guys. Had the guy that was at Hull that signed for them, who we were linked with, the central defender.
Jacob Greaves.
Thank you very much. He's not really progressed as you might have thought. And Leif Davis, again, was another player that we were linked with, who you thought was possibly going to make a bit more of a step up. They spent big. I think it's quite... I'm pleased that they got up. I'm pleased that they acquitted themselves so well. I do worry, because I do think they're almost like the poster boys for spending 100 million and it's still not being enough to stay in the Premier League. Which now there's a be careful what you wish for from me, I guess. Looking at next season, be careful what you wish for with these Championship clubs looking so good. So I think it's a shame. I think they've had a decent budget. I think they've got some decent players. And I think they've got a really good manager, coach, whatever he is, in McKenna. And it's still not been enough, has it? But I like them as a football club. I like them, and I wish them well. I think they've had a real go. And in many respects, actually, out of all the teams that have gone down, I think they've acquitted themselves as a club and on the playing side. I think they've been the best of them. I feel like they've acquitted themselves best. I've liked it. I haven't got a bad thing to say about Ipswich, actually.
Yeah, well, I agree in that regard. But the reality is they've not even come close to staying up. That's the reality. They've just gone back down without even, I was going to say with a whimper. They don't even have a whimper. They've just disappeared again, like Southampton, Leicester City in the end. And I like them as well. It's a good story. Back-to-back promotions doesn't happen very often. Fantastic achievement. I thoroughly enjoyed watching them in the Championship last season. And I thought they'd do it. I thought they'd come up, and I thought at some point, law of averages, because it's been a little while since someone stayed up with Nottingham Forest. I thought someone's got to, right? Someone's going to stay up. You have to get everything bang on. And then you need an element of luck thrown on top as well. I think to some extent, survival's almost out of their hands. They can get everything right. They can have the right manager. They can bring in the right players. But then they need to get little to no injuries, especially to your main players. You then need another team completely outside of your control to have a bad season and get injuries and make wrong decisions and have a bad transfer window. And just then, just maybe, you'll finish 17th in the Premier League. You need everything to go in your favour.
Yeah.
And during the summer, I thought they recruited well. I thought they were trying to bring in some experience. It hasn't worked. Calvin Phillips was the experienced Premier League midfielder they brought in. Muric, who'd been in the Premier League with Burnley, O'Shea, who'd been in the Premier League, Ben Johnson, who'd been in the Premier League, West Ham. They brought in players who had been in that league. They brought in the top talent of the Championship. Jacob Greaves, Jack Clark, in they come. Players that were linked with Premier League moves. And they got their Premier League move to Ipswich Town. So the recruitment looked okay, but the reality is not all of the players signed has worked out for them. And they needed almost every single one to be a success to have a chance of staying up. And I think this is I think Ipswich going down is a reflection of the Premier League more than it is a reflection of Ipswich Town, in my opinion. It's not a reflection of McKenna's ability as a head coach. I think he's a fantastic head coach. Yeah. It's not a reflection of their squad. It is to some extent, but they've still got really good players in there. It's just difficult, very, very difficult. The Premier League have made it as hard as they can to stop teams coming up and staying up. It's gone from the big 6 and it's in danger of becoming the big 17 if we're not too careful. And that's that's a shame, really. Now, I've done a video with an Ipswich fan called Ben. He's one of my favourite YouTubers. He's got a channel called Benjamin Bloom, and he covers the EFL football. Now, obviously, being an Ipswich fan, it's gone until this season. It's worked out well for him. It's a big channel. It's got more subscribers than we do. I've done a video with him. Now, usually we talk about his team, and then we'll get his opinion on our team, and then we'll move on to the game. It's about half an hour, and it's basically about the Premier League. It's about the big problem of the Premier League and the challenges Ipswich faced and the challenges that Burnley, Leeds, and then one of Sheffield United or Sunderland are going to face this summer as well. So I think it's a really good conversation. It'll be on the end of this video in the description and pin comments below. So go check it out after this preview. In regards to Ipswich then, Gonzo, do you think they'll be all right next season? Or do you worry that they'll go down and not come back up for a little while?
No, I think that is a risk for any of the teams, actually. I mean, you've only got to look at Luton, for instance. I don't know, though. There's a steadiness about them. I think there's got to be this halfway house at some point if it's going to carry on going like this. And I'd obviously not had the benefit of listening to your conversation with Ben. But if it carries on, and if I guess Ben is just going into more detail of what we were saying at the start of the video, this how difficult it is and this disparity, this sort of top 17, if you want, ultimately you're going to get some form of halfway house of these teams that are just too rich for the Championship, but not rich enough for the Premier League. There's going to be a certain number of those clubs. I think as long as you're well organised, then I think you'll be all right. And I think they should be all right. So they seem to be a relatively well organised club. It's we got a little bit of an insight in the summer into how they were organised, and that certainly put us to shame, doesn't it? Really, I think a lot of the organisation. But I think that really shows a lot of it. These clubs can have real structure to them, and then even. In fact, I'm going to throw Tottenham and Manchester United in there as well, because just at the point we record this, we've obviously just watched the don't mention it too much. We've watched the Europa League final, and weren't Manchester United terrible? Because obviously I was rather hoping that Manchester United would win that for obvious reasons. But even at a time when Manchester United have been terrible, Tottenham have been terrible, we have been worse probably. And we're also a club in complete confusion where do we want a director of football? Do we not want a director of football? Do we want that manager? No, we don't want him. We'll have that manager. Oh, we don't like him. We'll have another one. There's complete. Oh, well, let's have a new scouting system. There's complete and utter mayhem behind the scenes at West Ham. But even when you've got this well-oiled machine, which obviously Ipswich are, it's still not enough to bridge the gap to a basket case like us. But I suspect that's enough, that organisation, to get them back up again. So, yeah, long-winded way of answering. I think they'll be all right.
Yeah, I think they can hold on to McKenna, and I think they might. I wouldn't say his reputation has been tarnished per se, but I think if he kept Ipswich up, I think there would have been a few clubs maybe looking at him this summer, thinking, "Oh well, right, okay, we're going to have him now." But because will we see a Vincent Kompany Burnley situation? Maybe, but I don't know. I get the feeling that McKenna might stick with Ipswich for another season as well and try and get them back up. Because if he can get them up and keep them up, that would be a fantastic achievement. And they're going to benefit from the parachute payments now. And obviously, certain players will leave. Liam Delap will be the first one out the door with his relegation release clause there. And I imagine one or two others will follow. But if they can keep a hold of the spine of the team of Greaves, if they can, Clark, for example, I think has been very unlucky. I think McKenna's not really given him a fair crack at it in the Premier League. So he's one of the best left wingers in Championship at Sunderland.
Yeah.
To come up to the Premier League, it's not worked out for him. Well, when he goes back to the Championship, he's going to automatically, surely, become one of the best left wingers immediately, just like that. As they can keep Hutchinson, they've got one of the best right wingers in the Championship as well. One of the best centre backs in Jacob Greaves. So they will have really good players in that league at that club. And if they can get the recruitment right, I don't see why they wouldn't be coming back up in 12 months' time. I think that would be the bar that they're looking at, because I feel like they're in a much better place than Leicester City going down. You have a lot of overpaid old players facing a points deduction now from the Premier League before they go down. It's like, just before you disappear, lads, whack, here's your 10-point deduction off to the championship. You go, have fun. We'll see you in 12 months. And if your books ain't in order, we're coming after you again.
True.
So Ipswich are actually could prepare for 3-4 seasons' time. I'm not sure Leicester City can. Anyway, any players you admire from Ipswich?
Only the ones I've mentioned, but just what I would say, yeah, and Hutchinson, I really, really like him. Every time I see him play, I thought, oh, he's a player. But you're absolutely right. If all that happens is they lose Delap and they keep all the rest, you're absolutely. I forgot about that, Clark. We were linked with him, weren't we, on a number of occasions? But there's a stability to that as well. Somebody at that club identifies Delap, so there's no reason they can't go and do and identify someone else. So they've clearly got some decent talent spotters there, and there's a stability to there. I don't know. I just think if they can keep McKenna, that puts them, not just for the reasons that you just mentioned financially with Leicester, but even Southampton, who don't seem to know what they're doing. There was a decision, had they have kept Russell Martin, would you have expected Russell Martin to get them up again next season? Yes. But I understand that's not the time they're trying to show ambition to stay in the Premier League. And I think Ipswich were trying to show ambition to stay in the Premier League by keeping McKenna, if you know what I mean. So two different ways of showing ambition, neither of which worked. I think keeping the players and keeping the manager gives them a head start. But yeah, aside from the players I've mentioned, not really.
O'Shea's the only one I'll add in there. I think he's had a good season. I think he's been one of their better players, or their more consistent players, actually. I think he's had a good season. Delap, I assume, will win their player of the season, but I wouldn't be surprised if O'Shea was second on the list. That would be my voting anyway, and that's the two players I admire the most from Ipswich Town. Right, then we're going to move on to West Ham. Before we do that, we have our jumpers back in stock, which neither of us are wearing. We've got a full zip jumper with a hood, and we've also got a quarter zip jumper as well. We took them out in December. They were very popular. They sold out like that. A few people said, excuse me, can you get them back in stock, please? We're shutting down the shop very soon. So we thought, let's get them back in and sell them so those that wanted them can get them. They're available on the store. You go to hammerschatstore.com. There's pictures of the jumpers on the store. Even though we don't have them, they're on the store. Go have a little look. But once they're gone, they're gone. And then we'll relaunch the store again after the new year. And they might be there. They might not. We don't know yet. We've not decided. So now's your chance to grab one. Gonzo, this could be fun. This is the team you want to see start at Portman Road on Sunday, not what you think Graham Potter will do. Can you talk me through your goalkeeper and your defence, please?
I'll just best as I can, because my ink ran out, so I had to finish with the orange ink, which is barely visible. So it starts if it sounds like I'm unsure, I'm not unsure. I just can't read what I've written. I'm going to put Fabianski in goal because I am. I felt at least he seemed a little bit upset he didn't get a chance to wave goodbye to the fans. I think this is a way of at least allowing him to sort of wave goodbye to the away fans, who will give him a really, really good reception, no doubt about that. I'm going to continue to play the back five because I just think that's what we should probably do. I'm going to play Aaron Wan-Bissaka at right wing back for this one, which will probably give you an indication of what I'm going to do. Todibo, Mavropanos, and I'm going to play Casey, actually, because why not? And I'm going to play Scarles at left wing back.
Back four for me, because I'm fed up, I'm bored, and I want to see change, and I want to see something different. Now, short of putting James Corden in goal and Danny Dyer up front, I want to see something, I don't know, just a bit different when the team comes out, and I go, oh, okay, I'm looking forward to this now. So I too put Fabianski in goal for the reasons you said. He's pissed off. He is pissed off, and the way fans will give him a good send-off, albeit at Portman Road, and I think he deserves that. So I'd put him in goal for this one. Keep Wan-Bissaka in the team, because whilst I want to see some change and adventure, I actually do still want to try and win the game. I know it's only 3 million, but actually we can still lose 6-9 million by dropping down a position or two. We can still finish 17th. We can only go up one place, but we can drop down 2 below Spurs and Man United. So I'd still like to finish above them, because funny. In centre back today, Bo Mavropanos, and left back Ollie Scarles as well. I've gone with him because I think Creswell and Soufal got their goodbye.
Yes.
I think they had their goodbye. It wasn't as good as it should have been. I think they should have had a better one than what they got. I think there should be more of an event made out of it. But I feel like because they played, I'm okay with that. I think I'm okay with their ending at West Ham now. and I possibly wouldn't even have them on the bench on Sunday. Maybe Creswell, because it's Ipswich. There's a bit of romance there, and I'm praying he signs for Ipswich. I hope he goes back to Ipswich Town. I want to see romance in football
Sure.
as and where we can. I think that would be a nice story. So Scar's come back in because there's a question mark as to why he's been left out. Is it tactics? Potter said he's not good enough. Get him out of the team. Is it because something's happened? We don't know. But not knowing means that, well, I can put him in if I want to. So I'm having Scars at left back, please. Into midfield, what you got? What you saying?
I've got Lewis Orford and Lucas Paqueta as a two. There you go.
Give Orford a chance.
Yeah, why not? Why not? I think there's this not a perception, but there's a question of whether Potter's going to play the youth teams, and we'd understand because he said as much that he understands the value of it. He might as well. Look, Skulls is hopefully going to play some part next season. He should play. There's just nothing to lose here by doing it. I understand the 3 million and so on and so forth, but if that had honestly been our proper aim and our proper intention, then we've made a complete hash of it. And we've played the old codgers and we've played defensive and it hasn't really worked. So do you know what? Maybe have a little go and just play some of the youngsters and see. You might find out something. You're not going to find out anything by playing Alvarez, by playing Ward-Prowse, by playing Souček, by playing Rodriguez. We know we've already established. We all have an opinion, whatever they may be individually about that. And I would hope that by now Potter has an opinion. He will find out nothing. But you might find out by playing Orford against a team that, as we've said, are whatever, if it's just in that little no-go zone between the Premier League and the Championship. But you know, they're not a Champions League club or anything like that. And if any of us were probably going to put Orford out on loan next season, it probably would be to the Championship. Give him a go. Why not? Just give him a go when we might learn something. It could just be, okay, yeah, he needs a season of Championship. He might have an absolute brilliant game, and you might think, oh, hold on a second. Might change your thinking for pre-season. I just think you learn stuff. All the others, you learn nothing.
Orford, Solar, and Paqueta for me. The reason being, I enjoyed Solar and Paqueta when they came on last weekend against Nottingham Forest. I thought we played some good football, and I want to see us try and play some good football on Sunday afternoon. And I appreciate Solar's not going to be here next season, but I think he's one of our better options in central midfield. If I want to see us do that, play positive, dynamic, entertaining football, I think Solar is in the team. Orford, I completely agree with you. Just give him an opportunity, give him a chance, and listen. If he's crap, so what? Right? We discover he's not ready. We stick to what the plan probably currently is, which is he's got to go out on loan. He's not quite ready for West Ham next season. Fine. You might even discover Ipswich. Kieran McKenna's maybe watching, going, hang on, that lad's good. Who's that? I'll have him in my team next season in the Championship. Can we loan him, please? And like I said, Paqueta picks himself for me. When he's on it, and I thought he came on and changed the game against Nottingham Forest because it didn't really come to anything, but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed what he produced. You've got him in Orford. Who's your sort of attacking midfielder, or are you going two up top?
Well, no, I'm playing a striker, so if I got my maths right, that leaves me with 3 more players. So I'm going with
Leaves you with 4 players.
Eh?
Oh no, you've got back 5. Sorry, you've got back 5.
I got back 5. Yeah,
sorry. I apologize. I forgot you were going defensive and negative a week.
Exactly, that's what they say. Yeah, that's what they call me.
Sorry, I forgot you were doing that defensive stuff.
Old negative Nelly over here. Yeah.
Well, who's your remaining 3?
I'm ready for 3. A Bowen, Fulkrug, and Guilherme.
It has to be, doesn't it? I've got that as well. It's got to be Guilherme. It's got to be. He's one of the few players that doesn't look shackled by their tactics. He doesn't look scared. He's got that bravery. He's bold. He's willing to run at players and stuff like that. I would like to see him start, give him an opportunity, and again, we might discover something with Kudus. And also, we're at that awkward point of the season now where, and I think McKenna started doing it with Liam Delap recently as well, which is maybe wise not to play him so much just in case he gets injured. Like there's nothing to play for here. He's 30 million. I'll still play him here and there, but I'll also start using Hurst a little bit because I'm going to be playing him next season.
Sure.
And that's a 30 million. If he gets injured, that's 30 million just lost. And I think there's an element of me here with, Kudus and Souček, which is if you've decided you are selling those players, maybe there's a conversation to be had with your bloody mirror, which is, oi, Potter, best not play them. Sola gets injured, so what? He's the greatest.
They can afford it, PSG.
He's not our player.
Good point. Let's get Ferguson in there.
There's no repercussions. And I know Bowen's our player and stuff like that, but like I said, I still want to have an element of the team of majority of players that will still be here or could still be here next season. So Bowen in his best position, please, Guilherme, and get the big, massive German up front.
Yeah, and I mean, it is. I think writing's on the wall for Fulkrug anyway. But if he doesn't start this one, then definitely you can rubber stamp the writings on the rubber stamps on the wall, not the writing. So, yeah,
it'll be poured through the wall as well if he doesn't.
Probably would. I just think, you know what? You've tried this other stuff. Just leave it now. Even he, if we're going to release the number of, well, not release, but sell the number of players that it looks like we're going to sell, then he wants to go in a completely different direction anyway. What's the point in playing with these players who are not going to fit your system and not going to fit your style for one more game? I really do. I just think that horse has bolted now. And I know you say there's still 3 million up to play for, but it's been that way for weeks now. If that's what we wanted to do, you can play defensive football, but it has to work. So fans will accept being bored if it works. Okay, I mean, Arsenal back in the day made a 1-0 to the Arsenal under George Graham. I wouldn't say they were particularly excited by it, but in the end, because it was winning football, they wore it as a badge of honour. They should sing 1-0 to the Arsenal. It's a tedious thing to watch if you're not winning. So I just look at it and think, look, mate, it's not working. So just do something else. Send everyone out on a bit of a blaze of glory and give the fans something to get behind. And maybe those players who might be here next season, Orford, Scarles and Guilherme, particularly the youngsters, Bowen, obviously, give them something. Let them finish on a high. Let them get a goal or just something to give us something to carry into the end of the season, basically.
Yeah, in regards to the prize money, it's tongue in cheek because ultimately last weekend there was more money up for grabs because had we won, we'd be going into this weekend with the possibility of climbing 2 spaces because we could have still gone above Everton as well. So we've squandered 3 million last weekend by playing Guido Rodriguez and James Ward-Prowse in midfield. No striker. But I think if this team comes out on Sunday and there's no Fulkrug, I'm going, fucking hell. You know what I mean? Like, if you're not going to play a striker away to a side that's going to finish either 18th or 19th in the league.
Yeah.
How am I meant to believe you're going to do it at home to Liverpool next season? I'm not, because there's a little evidence. So I need.
But this is what, in the end, made a lot of fans frustrated with Moyes because this is sort of what he used to do, but he had a load of credit in the bank to do it. So you think, oh, come on, mate, we're not gonna attack Sheffield United. Come on. He was allowed to do it. He had credit in the bank. As I say, he could point to everybody will continue to do so. Well, hold on a second. What I did was not too shabby at West Ham. I was effective there. Potter doesn't have this, so you've got to buy some credit. So give us something on the last game of the season.
Yeah. Unfortunately for him, I don't think he can get any credit with me. And we could win 3-0 on Sunday, and I say, it was nice, but it doesn't change anything for the summer of next season. The damage is done already. Right then, this video is sponsored by Match Bingo. Just because the season's coming to an end, it doesn't mean your time on Match Bingo should, because they are covering the Nations League, which happens immediately after the season's finished. There's Nations League competitions coming up. So while there's some football over the summer, Match Bingo is involved. Plus, they've also got cricket on there and the darts. If you're a darts fan like myself and you don't mind a bit of the arrows, what is Match Bingo? You get a bingo card with events that you need to occur in the game. There's some simple things on there. You might need West Ham to take a goal kick to have a shot off target. You'll need Ipswich Town maybe to take the kick off, which is guaranteed to happen. It's just whether it's the first minute or the 45th minute. It's guaranteed to happen. There's 3 ways that you can win. You can be the first person to get the first line, 2 lines or the full house. Well, there's actually 4 ways because there's a bonus pot as well for other people who got the full house. There's £250 up for grabs on this match alone, and it's only £2 per go. There's over £10,000 worth of prizes available every single week on the Match Bingo app. So how do you download it? Links in the description below and the pinned comments, or the QR code is on the screen. Use one of those 3 methods. You can download the app. If you sign up and deposit 10 quid, they'll also give you another 10 quid for credit on top, giving you a lot more bang for your buck. Plus, if you buy 4 cards for this fixture or any other fixture in the Premier League, you'll get your 5th card free. Massive good luck to anybody, and a massive thank you to Match Bingo for their sponsorship this season. Gonzo, are you arsed in the slightest?
Thank you. Because I thought you were going to ask, are you confident?
That's coming next.
Brilliant.
I've got that one as well.
I'll look forward to that section.
I like context, so I need to know, are you bothered? And then, how are you feeling?
I'm really not bothered. And I was last week. I was last week, and now I'm not. I'm a bit apathetic towards it. I am, and I'm not alone. Having read comments all week on YouTube, there's a lot of people are disengaged. Actually, I think that might never mind apathetic. They're almost disengaged with it. There's not a lot. It's funny you say even if we won 3-0. Yeah, I know what you mean. There's not a lot that would get me. He'd have to do something quite radical, like a whole youth team or something, or 5 youth players in there. And then I might think, oh, hold on, what's going on here? This is interesting. Because at the moment I'm thinking there's nothing Potter could do that would surprise me, be it in terms of selection or tactically. So at the moment, I as I say, I'm quite apathetic towards it. But I'm open to being changed. I'm open to a bold selection, some bold tactics, something different. I'd like to see something from him. I'd like to see him saying, "Do you know what? To hell with it. To hell with it. I've tried. I've really tried. I've tried. It hasn't worked. I'm going to do something different now, and this is what I'll be planning for next season. Maybe something like that, rather than him doing the same thing but then speaking in riddles." He probably needs to give us something. As I've mentioned before, I think season ticket renewals are probably quite horrific. We don't know because the figures won't be released, but they're probably quite horrific. So I think probably people need to get something to try and get behind. Whether he's capable of doing it, I don't know, because I think a lot of the thing with the season ticket is probably because your question: are you asked? If you ask most people, they'd probably say no, not really.
Yeah, it's hard to be. I don't think anything's helped. Even things away from West Ham and nothing to do with West Ham, like Spurs winning the Europa League, almost doesn't help.
It's true.
I had a weird feeling when watching that game. I felt like sick watching watching Spurs win. I thought they're having a crap season. They've won a trophy, and they might finish below us, but they've won a trophy. And made me miss European football. And I thought because the Europa League's now easier than it was when we were in it, because there's no drop downs in the Champions League. And I like that way. I think it should be that way. There should be no rewarding failure. Oh, you're not good enough for the Champions League. Well, come down into Europa League, have another pop.
For sure.
Come on, have another try, a different competition. Now I like it like this. Once you're out, you're out. That's it. But it made me think, well, I want back in, because it's easier to win now. We didn't quite get there in the Europa League, but actually we get back in maybe. But we're just, it feels like a million miles away from getting back in. And I think that's what's sad, England could have 9 teams playing European football next season, nearly half the league. And we're a long way away from being the 9th team. And I think that's why it's made me... But then I wasn't arsed last week until we were 2-0 down, made subs and started playing good football. Then I got really wound up because we could have been doing this from the start of the game. And it's frustrating. It's really frustrating because for months now, he's had loads of time on the training ground, and it's not really given us much at the weekend. Those that do have European football, you've got an excuse, which is, well, we get 2 training sessions a week. That's it. Because we're playing midweek, weekend, it's difficult. But actually, when you're not in European football, you've got that privilege of being able to train for a week straight. And there should be benefits to that. We're not seeing it. Am I arsed for this game? Not at all. Absolutely not. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the season being finished. I am looking forward to the final whistle going. Hopefully, we win, and I can discuss our victory and good performances from players. But ultimately, it's not going to mean anything to me. I will, even if we win 5-0, I'll forget about it by the start of next season because it's meaningless. It's insignificant. The only thing that can be significant from this game is if we're crap. And Potter can only really lose here, and it's a bit harsh, but he can. If we're good, I'm going to, but it doesn't matter because look, all the other games we've been rubbish in. But if we're crap, I'm going to go, that's another game, another bit of evidence that we're rubbish. So maybe I'm being a bit harsh, but that's just how I feel going into this one. I just can't wait for the full-time whistle. Are you feeling fruity?
No, not in the least. I've got to say, not. I fear Ipswich. We're almost, but I say almost nothing would surprise me if Ipswich won this. It would not surprise me if it was a draw. It wouldn't surprise me if West Ham won this game. That wouldn't surprise me either. But to say I can take any game and be confident about it, I didn't think Norwich. I didn't think United and Forest were particularly good. I thought they were a bit nervy, and I don't think that was Forest at their best. I certainly didn't think Manchester United, which is obviously, that's different. Obviously, that's a good example. But I didn't think Tottenham were very good. I don't think we've played very good. I think Southampton were very good. Our run-in is we've actually had a really easy run-in. I don't even think we played Brighton at their best. And I am aware that I'm probably coming across as sounding someone like, hold on, you don't think anyone's good. I do. I just don't think we've played any of the teams at their top and at their best. I still think everyone has caused us problems, really. So yeah, I don't know, but you are going to see hopefully two teams playing with a bit of freedom here, and for that reason, it should allow for at least a spectacle. At least, both teams to go out there and play a game and put on a bit of a performance, score some goals and stuff like that. So, but yeah, confident. No, but not confident of anything. Not confident of any one of the three permutations.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I think there's, this is where you have to put what you want, as in the team, to one side and start to. You go from what your desire to your prediction. What do you think Potter's going to do? And I think he's going to take it absolutely serious. I think he's going to play what he feels is strongest 11, and I think there will be a reaction to the starting 11. His biggest mistake last week was just not changing a winning team that went to Old Trafford and won, as if it was like equivalent of going to Arsenal when we beat them at the Emirates. It was completely dissimilar circumstance, and I felt like he treated it as if it was the same standard of victory. So I think we're going to see a reaction from him. I think we will see multiple changes in the starting 11. I think we will see Paqueta come back in. I think we might see Fulkrug start. I still think he'll try this 3-5-2 thing. It's just a case of, will you drop Fulkrug and put Bowen in? Maybe he'll go a bit adventurous and put a winger at wing back, whether it be on the right-hand side or the left-hand side, just to get a bit more something in the team. I think we'll see him want to finish on a high and hope that we'll slip up, who were terrible against Crystal Palace during the week. So I think there's they're playing Brentford, who still have something to play for. So I think there's a possibility that if we win, we do actually move up a position. And while me, you, and the listener may laugh at that and think, how pathetic is this, that this is, to him, he will be taking that serious. So I actually feel like we might win on Sunday, to be honest with you. So with all that said and done, Gonzo, can I get your final words and your final score prediction of the season, please?
Yeah, you know what? When you say it like that, I can certainly be persuaded. I know that wasn't your intention, but I can certainly be persuaded that we could win if he takes it seriously. And yeah, I agree. Against Forest, for Paqueta was so good. Forward thinking, forward playing, forward passing, really important. Let's be fair, we should have too much for this team. We got how much does our defense cost? A lot. Jared Bowen remains one of the most lethal forwards in the Premier League. Give him a chance, he takes it. What a goal that was, by the way.
Since he's come back from injury, only Salah has scored or assisted more times in the Premier League.
And he's playing for the champions. Bowen's playing for a team out of form. Brilliant. Yeah. We got more than enough. 2-1. to us.
Oh, I put 1-1. I thought you were going to go.
I was close. See, I wouldn't honestly. I wouldn't put a penny on anyone because every result is up for grabs here.
I'm going to go 1-0 West Ham. I think we'll turn up. I think it'll be quite boring, actually. I think we'll see two teams not really arse. I think we'll see an Ipswich team that's half of them are on the beach, another half are out the door. And West Ham, I think we'll see. I feel like there's anger in this team. I think there's a few players in our team that are not happy with how we've performed. And so there should be. But I think you might see them fired up a little bit. It was almost nice. I quite like the scrap at the end against Nottingham Forest because I want proof and I want something that says, "Don't worry, we still care." And it might just be that their teammates are getting picked on, so they're backing each other up. But that'll do because I've seen plenty of West Ham teams over the years where someone will get in a scuffle and everyone will just watch and go, "Ugh." And yeah, I don't like that. I want to see something. So yeah, I think we'll win 1-0, and I think we'll move up to the lofty heights of 14th Premier League. Double prediction. I think Wolves lose against Brentford. Anyway, thank you very much for joining us. Thank you very much for joining us this season. Make sure you download the Match Bingo app. And if you fancy getting your hooded zippy jumper or just your jumper with a quarter zip, both are very popular. They will sell out. Go to hammerschatstore.com. Links in description below. But if you enjoyed this preview, please do drop a like on it by clicking thumbs up. Subscribing to Hammers Chat. Myself and Gonzo. Catch you in a bit.